What's going on, guys? I didn't want to leave you hanging because if you watched my Sunday video, you saw me make a prediction, or you heard me make a prediction. I said if Powell comes out and he's hawkish, or he does not give the Trump administration what they want, which is a rate cut, let alone at the bare minimum be at least dovish, talk about rate cuts coming or something. But Powell came off, I thought, relatively hawkish. And because of that, I made a prediction on the Sunday video that if Powell is hawkish, look for a trade deal to be announced at the end of the week. And boom, we got the UK trade deal. A lot of people are shitting on this trade deal saying, what's the big deal? It's not a big country. It is a big deal because it's a template for other countries to look at. Remember, we raised up the tariffs, max paying, they negotiate, we lower the tariffs back to our baseline tariff of 10%. You're going to see that rinse and repeat through all these other countries as well. Japan and India are queued up. I think it would have been the Indian trade deal announcement because Vance was just there last week, but they have that conflict/war brewing right now with Pakistan, and I bet you that put a delay on it, so they went ahead with the UK trade deal. I think some of these trade deals are essentially worked out, and they're looking at game theory, which Scott Besson is big on. They're looking at game theory with strategic releases into the marketplace, right? So a lot of people would call that manipulation. Guys, this is a game. You're in the casino. Understand the rules of the game to learn how to profit from the game. If you want to bitch and whine and cry about market manipulation, you're never going to make any money. The odds are always stacked against you. I've been doing this for almost 25 years. Learn the rules of the game and you can understand this and profit from these moves in the market. Let's go ahead and kick this off. I want to look at first the fear and greed. We are at 62 in greed. Now remember when we were in 4 in extreme fear, I told you guys this was the bottom. We hit the 50% retracement. I shared the things that I was accumulating. Solana between 112 and 89. We got down to 95. What is it at right now? $160 on Solana? I don't know what the high was for today. I've been driving all day long. But Solana right now is, where are we at? Solana 159 as I'm recording right now, about 3:15 Eastern Standard Time. I shared with you my Tesla ideas on X. Give me a follow there, guys, at Market Canary. I was getting Tesla down at the 220 range. You got down to 215. Tesla's at 287 right now. And you are in greed. And I'm looking for a top and a pullback to build the next leg in our W fractal. If you scroll through this, you're still in extreme fear on some of these gauges because you're below the 125-day moving average. Oh, that's scary. Death crossing the market. Oh, that's scary too. Moving averages are lagging indicators. Trade with patterns. Patterns are predictive, right? You want predictive indicators in the marketplace. Stock market price strength is neutral. Extreme greed and breadth. We'll get into that again on the Monday video. The Zweig breadth thrust and extreme greed. Put and call options is still in fear. Remember, we had a record-setting amount of puts on the marketplace when at the bottom of a 20% retracement. At the bottom. 80% of people lose money trading the market. Don't let that be you. Let's go ahead and advance. If we look at the VIX, you're still suppressed at 22, but you're building a little bit of a base here, okay? So we're going to watch this because, again, I think we're building up to a top. If we look at S&P futures, this is ES1 continuous. What's the overall shape we're looking at? Here's your 50% retracement. Beautiful. There's your weekly 200. And there's your 48.34, right almost to the dollar, guys. 48.32 within $2 on this sell-off at the 50% retracement, within $2 of a $4,800+ asset. That's just awesome. Learn to trade with fibs. Check out marketmakers.trade. So look at this. We got our leg down. Got the predicted rebound back up, but what are we coming up to right now? Let's just zoom in a little bit here. Here is a cluster. For those of you that like moving averages, you have the weekly 50 in blue, which is what you're hitting. For those of you that like market candles, you're forming a doji right at the 50. I have my whole moving average, my 18 moving average. There's a point of resistance here, even without including the Fibonacci, which is why I've had this drawn here for weeks. I was looking for a move to peak resistance and some type of retracement, and then a basing process, and then the move back up, okay? This is what we're coming up to, is that topping range. Let's look at this. First off, on Bitcoin, okay? I want to do this. We'll lead off with Bitcoin and then get to the dailies of S&P and NASDAQ, because Bitcoin has been predictive. Bitcoin right now is at 101, just under 101. It got as high as almost 102. It got to 101,666. 3-day chart, guys. Same exact concept I'm looking for on Bitcoin. We're approaching peak resistance. Had this pattern, this W drawn here for weeks. The question is, how deep will this retracement leg go to me? Okay, I think we're coming up towards a topping range. I'll show you on the daily. How deep will this retracement level go? Originally, when I drew this, I had this drawn at the 200, basically on the daily time frame, which at the time was like at 88, 87, but now it's closer to 90. So we'll see. Let's go ahead and go to the next chart. But one thing to consider, guys, is if we keep moving up, when we retrace, it doesn't have to be deep, but if it is, we're going to look at the levels. When we retrace, my ultimate target remains the same, 132 to 145 on Bitcoin for the blow off top cycle. We look at Bitcoin on the daily. Here's your 200, right? If you look at the 200, you're basically at 90, almost 91K right now. You have that key 92K level, which gave you a nice floor for all this accumulation, and you're at 101K right now. Just above you is 102 at the 786. And of course, let's go ahead and throw the 90% on here, okay? There's my kill box. We're right in the kill box right now. Let's throw the 90% on here. This is such a great leading indicator for what the markets could potentially do. 90% takes you up to 106.4, okay? So if you flip 102, watch 106.4, because ultimately you're going to do something like this at some point. You're going to do something like that and retrace. And then it's a matter of, can you base and come back up, or do you start leveling down? Okay, that's what the big deal here is. But a couple things to understand. What's your template? This is your liquidity barometer for the market. You're above the 200. The S&P is not. The NASDAQ is not. You're above the 200 and you're pumping up. They need to flip their 200s, even if they accumulate above it like Bitcoin did before a breakout. They need to flip their 200 so that if they sell off, that's your first key level of support, just like on Bitcoin, is going to be that 200, okay? You also have that 92K level just above you. So right down the 90, 92K, you're at 101 right now. If you start topping out at 102, 106, that's the level to watch, is a back test of the 200. And of course, we'll have another video out Monday as well. Let's look at some of my favorite indicators here. Money flow, you're still bullish. ADX has confirmed the breakout. That's also good. So it's a legit move, guys. It's a legit and predicted move in the marketplace. Let's look at the S&P futures, my roadmap here for 2025. So there's our 200. Right there. We're not even at it yet, right? We still got to get up to basically 57.77, I think, to test the 200. You're at 57.23, within 50 bucks. You could easily get there tomorrow, right? If you get any type of euphoria tomorrow, you have the 72% at 5,800, 58.81. That's the zone I'm looking at, just above the 200. How strong is that resistance going to be? We'll look at this on the daily. And then, of course, I'm looking at a pullback. How strong would the pullback be? Again, this all depends, and I'll show you this on the daily, but this will all depend on how bullish, I guess you could say, the marketplace is, because there's several layers here. But looking at this roadmap for what I expect the retracement. Here I have it at the 50%, which is 53.09. Let's see if that changed with this rally. Did that change yet? Nope, because I drew it up to the 57.92. So if we get the 57.92, 50% retracements, 53.09. Totally normal. Even though that's what? That's basically 500-point drop, right? Totally normal if we get a 50% retracement before the next leg. But this roadmap exists because, remember, my base case, and I'm going to toss the bears some red meat here too, okay? So don't worry. But my base case is a blow off top. What's that base case entail? We get some type of retracement, then essentially your next slingshot. How do you get a blow off top? We've been over this in previous videos. A strong, powerful move in a condensed time frame. Think 20+% move in a condensed time frame. If we are coming up to a late June, mid-July blow off top, you're going to see rapid acceleration into that 6,500 range on the S&P, okay? We don't know that yet. If you're getting a blow off top and the fall equinox, cardinal point in the market, my points here of confluence that I've been over many times, as 7,000, 7,500 for my targets. If we're going to get that, then you're going to see this roadmap play out where maybe you hit 6,500, you do another retracement, you sell off, you come back up, and at some point you accelerate back to the upside, right? So it's just a roadmap of how 2025 could play out, and we don't know yet. I'm looking for a top. We're going to take it a leg at a time. A top, a drop to some level, a base, and then a move up into the summer. That's my current thought process. Now, when we look at this on the daily time frame, S&P futures. S&P futures have my kill box here. Again, 5,800, 5,881, the 200 right there. We have the 1618 from this pattern as well. Lines up beautifully with my 72%, 786, right on top of each other. And so you can see this playing out where you find resistance here. Now, why is this important? I'm going to show you a couple of things. If we look at the money flow is bullish, right? That's good. So we have volume weighted RSI is bullish. We have accumulation here on our Williams line of accumulation and distribution. ADX did not confirm this breakout. That's a little bit concerning to me, but it makes sense because, again, I'm looking for a top to be built here for some type of retracement, right? Something else to consider, guys, if you're looking at my chart and you're new to the channel, you're seeing these balls here, right? So you're seeing these balls here. These are lunar cycles. And you can say, I don't care about that. Well, those of you who've been with me for a long time now or for a while now, you understand how important these are, right? Lunar cycle changes. Just look at the last six in a row. The exact bottom to the day, to a new all-time high, January 13th. You got a top with this full moon cycle 2-3 days before. You got a bottom on the eclipse for the next rally up. You got a top with the new moon cycle. You got a bottom with the full moon, a bottom with the new moon, and you have the micro full moon coming up on Monday. Why is it the micro full moon? It's the lunar orbit. It's at its apogee away from the Earth, the furthest point away from the Earth. So the moon's going to appear very small. Micro full moon on Monday. Now, what I do is I combine that with patterns. I combine that with confluence because that's how I like to trade. And you're coming up to strong resistance, 57.94, 58.81. My kill box range, the 200, an extended rally, the strongest rally in 21 years. It makes sense to get some level of pullback. We'll go over these retracement levels more on the Monday video, but just real quick, just so you can see a couple of them. 55.28, the top of wave 3, and of course just underneath that 51.27. These would be totally normal to come up, chop around, fall back, base, maybe come down, come back up, and go back up again, okay? Totally normal. You'd be making a larger W pattern like on the weekly time frame. What's not normal is if you take out 5,100, you're double bottoming. You're coming back to this bottom, and if you take that out, that's when you see that 4,500 come into play. But as you can see on the screen, it's not a concern at the moment. We don't even have the top yet for the retracement. So again, a leg at a time. Just showing you what you could possibly expect. Let's go ahead and look at NASDAQ, because this just is a quick update, guys. I'll do a full video on Monday. NASDAQ, you're right at the 200 NASDAQ 100 futures. Again, kill box just above you, 20,423, 21,000. NASDAQ moves roughly 300 plus points a day. Basically 2 days worth of movement here at that level. If we move this away, you can see the 1618 is right where you are right now at the 200. We can pull our fib from the top side down to the retracement low, all-time high to the low, and you get 20,679, 21K basically. Again, both just above you, both within that kill box. So let's see what the market does tomorrow. Bitcoin broke out above the 200, accumulated above the 200, held it for support, and moved up. Can the NASDAQ do the same move? Can the S&P do the same move? Can they get above their 200, hold it, back test it, accumulate just like Bitcoin did, and move up from there? Then you're getting your new all-time highs and blow off top. If they do not, and you fail, you come up, you come down, you come up, you start breaking down a little bit, you find some support, then you're still looking at a new potential high coming in the market, but you're getting that pullback first, and then you're going to have more and more trading opportunities. Potential short, potential long. Stay tuned to the channel. Like, subscribe, positive aura points for all that do. And I'll see you guys on Monday. Follow me on X at Market Canary. Talk to you guys soon.